No way Yellen can scare China into changing stance on Ukraine issue. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen on Wednesday called on China to help end the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and she warned that China will face a loss of its standing in the world. The world's attitude towards China and its willingness to embrace further economic integration may well be affected by China's reaction to our call for resolute action on Russia, she said. This is a blatant threat to China, but China never accepts or becomes frightened by such threats. China's international status is achieved by its own strength rather than granted by the US. As Treasury Secretary, Yellen should know this better than anyone else. Yellen's remarks are aimed at dragging China into the chaos and smearing China at the same time to create the impression that China is not a responsible power. However, this is of little substance, said Li Haidong, a professor at the China Foreign Affairs University. The measures the US can take against China have already been in use for years. Washington had engaged in various sanctions since it launched the trade war with China, which turned out to be ineffective. It is just trying to use the Ukraine crisis to blackmail China more comprehensively, Li told the Global Times. U.S. Labor Department data released on Tuesday shows that consumers in the U.S. paid more for everyday items in March, to their highest level in 40 years, as inflation rose to 8.5%. And gasoline prices have skyrocketed. By prolonging the war in Ukraine, the U.S. government is trying to shift the problems to other countries. But this is just drinking poison to quench their thirst. China's stance on the Ukraine crisis has been objective, fair and consistent. China has repeatedly called for peace and talks. But the U.S. approaches have only compounded the crisis. For example, the Biden administration announced on Wednesday an additional $800 million in weapons to Ukraine, including artillery, armored personnel carriers and helicopters.